Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at the David versus Goliath playbook, specifically how a smaller brand survives and honestly even thrives in a market completely dominated by massive, deep-pocketed multinationals. We're unpacking a really fascinating marketing strategy analysis of Cruise AC. So if you've ever wondered how a true underdog builds a solid foothold in a fiercely competitive space, you're going to love the playbook we're about to break down.
So here's the massive question I want us to keep in the back of our minds today. How exactly does a relatively small brand take on multi-billion-dollar giants, the LGs and Samsungs of the world, and actually win market share? Because let's face it, the Indian air conditioning market is incredibly saturated. It demands huge manufacturing muscle, massive marketing budgets, and endless distribution networks. On paper, a smaller player just shouldn't stand a chance. But Cruise AC? They found a way. And their strategy is a literal masterclass in market positioning.
To understand just how staggering this Goliath problem really is, we need to look at the competitive landscape. Up at the top, you've got Daikin completely dominating the premium Japanese tech space. Then you have Voltas, right? They're leaning hard on their Indian heritage and just absolute mass reach. And then, at the bottom end, there's a ruthless fight on low prices among local and Chinese origin brands. So Cruise literally cannot outspend LG on marketing, and there's no way they outdistribute Voltas. What do? Well, they have to find the gap. They have to give consumers a super compelling reason to pick a Cruise AC when those bigger, much more famous brands are sitting right next to it on the shelf.
Which brings us to Section 1, the premium value sweet spot. Let's see exactly how they carve out that specific space.
Before we even get into their pricing, we have to talk about the number 30. There's this huge misconception that Cruise is some newcomer to the scene. They absolutely are not. They were actually founded way back in 1992. That gives them over 30 years of serious engineering and OEM experience. I mean, they've been quietly building equipment for other massive global HVAC brands for decades. That right there is their foundational credibility. They aren't just shipping in cheap units and slapping a shiny logo on them. They have real, hardcore engineering DNA.
And what's super interesting is how they leverage that engineering background to perfectly position themselves. Think about it. If Cruise tries to fight the cheap, local brands, it's just a race to the bottom, right? They'd have to sacrifice quality. But if they go straight for the expensive multinationals, they're going up against established loyalties where people are paying a huge premium just for the brand name. So, Cruise strategically drops right in the middle. They target the value-conscious consumer, someone who wants all those premium features like smart tech and heavy-duty cooling, but without paying that massive multinational markup. To capture that exact sweet spot, they've rolled out a surprisingly broad product lineup. They aren't just banking on one standard AC. First, they have their value inverter line, sitting around 26,990 rupees, perfect for the really price-sensitive buyer. Then they step it up to a solid mid-tier, around 36,990. And get this, they even stretch all the way up into the premium luxury space with their Black Label series, hitting 55,000 rupees and above. It's a genius multi-tiered strategy. It lets them capture entirely different market segments, which is absolutely crucial for expanding into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities where purchasing power, varies wildly. Moving on to Section 2. Weapons of differentiation, because let's be real, pricing alone just isn't enough. We need to look at how Cruise innovates, where the giants aren't even looking.
Okay, this is honestly one of my favorite parts of their entire strategy. Instead of just grinding away in the fixed-split AC war, Cruise created a totally separate consumer proposition, the portable AC. They call it Portacool. This opens up some amazing, highly specific use cases. We're talking rental homes where you literally can't drill into the walls, temporary outdoor events, office spaces, or just really tricky rooms. And the coolest part? Cruise originally designed these portable ACs on wheels specifically for the Mumbai film industry. It was a brilliant innovation born from a super local use case that they cleverly spun out into a massive commercial product.
So, the big takeaway here is that they aren't just selling you a good deal. They are selling serious, heavy-duty technology. I mean, just listen to these specs. Their VarioCool range features 4-in-1 convertible cooling, which basically lets users adjust the capacity right when they need it. Then there's their JetCool range, completely built for extreme heat. They actually advertise performance in temperatures up to 55 degrees Celsius. That is wild. Add in 100% copper components for durability, and suddenly, Cruise isn't just some budget alternative anymore. They are a technologically advanced, serious contender.
And that takes us to Section 3, engineered for Indian summers. Let's see how this heavy-duty tech fuels their strongest localization strategy.
Cooling engineered for Indian summers. Now that's not just a catchy marketing tagline, it is a deep, highly strategic differentiator. Just think about the actual conditions in India. You've got extreme summer heat, totally unpredictable voltage fluctuations, crazy dust, humidity, and if you're on the coast, heavy corrosion. While the global brands are out there marketing universal cooling, Cruise explicitly targets these local headaches. High ambient temperature tolerance? Check. Corrosion-resistant components? Check. It creates this incredibly strong local connection. They're basically telling the consumer, hey, those giants build ACs for the whole world, but we build ACs specifically to survive your neighborhood.
All right, section 4, the marketing trust funnel. Because obviously having a localized, killer product means absolutely nothing if people don't trust you enough to actually buy it. Buying an air conditioner is a huge deal. It's high risk, high involvement. So Cruise had to build a very specific marketing funnel to guide a skeptical buyer. It's a precise 4-step process. They start broad with awareness, push you down into deep consideration, hit risk reduction head-on, and finally guide you right to the purchase. Let's break down exactly how they nail every single step.
Step 1 is awareness. And wow, Cruise swings for the fences here. They pour serious money into Bollywood celebrity associations. We're talking big names like Vani Kapoor, who's been their brand ambassador since 2022, plus Sunny Leone and Minushi Chiller. Now, why do this do? Because when an underdog brand links up with massive celebrities, especially for their premium Black Label line, it instantly makes them look modern, highly aspirational, and most importantly, big enough to trust. It completely shatters that initial, I've never even heard of them barrier.
Okay, so once they have your attention, they smoothly move you right into consideration. Buying an AC means doing a lot of homework. Buyers are scouring Google and YouTube trying to validate performance, so Cruise leans really hard into a digital-first product education strategy. They actually work with tech creators and YouTube reviewers to show everything: the unboxing, the actual real-world installation, and genuine heavy-duty cooling tests. It's such a smart way to let independent, trusted voices validate their tech claims to consumers who are actively in the research phase.
Now we hit the absolute most critical phase, risk reduction. And their ultimate psychological weapon here, the number 10. Cruise offers a full 10-year inverter compressor warranty. Look, if you're a consumer considering a brand that isn't LG or Samsung, your biggest fear is, what if this breaks and I'm left sweating in the heat? A 10-year warranty aggressively crushes that post-purchase anxiety. It confidently tells the buyer that the brand stands firmly behind its engineering.
But, as we all know, a warranty is literally just a piece of paper if you can't actually get a technician to show up at your house. That's where this next number comes into play, 1,200. Cruise has built an impressive omni-channel network of over 1,200 sales and service partners across the country. They're offline at local dealers, they're online on their website, they're on Amazon. By heavily promoting this massive nationwide service network, they answer the "who's going to fix it" question before the customer even asks. Big warranty plus a massive service network, that equals instant trust.
Finally, Section 5, the Underdog's Playbook. Let's zoom out a bit and summarize the big picture lesson for any smaller brand trying to survive the giants.
If we do an honest SWOT analysis of their overall strategic position, it's pretty clear. Their strengths are undeniably those 30 years of experience, that incredibly localized positioning, and that super aggressive warranty. But, they still have weaknesses. They're fighting with a lower overall marketing budget, and they have a constant battle to build raw brand awareness compared to the multi-billion-dollar players. The opportunities, though? Huge, especially as Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities expand and face more extreme heat. Still, the threats are always there: aggressive discounting and the sheer massive reach of giants like LG and Voltus.
But all of this culminates in a very clear winning formula. In fact, the source analysis rates Cruise's marketing strategy a solid 8 out of 10. It all boils down to product innovation, value pricing, and service assurance. That combination right there is how they give consumers a genuinely compelling reason to choose them. They don't just say, hey, we make good ACs. They say, we make heavy-duty ACs engineered specifically for your exact climate at a price you can actually afford, and we're going to back it up for a full decade.
Which brings us to our final, somewhat provocative thought for this explainer. In the ultimate battle for market share, will hyper-localized marketing eventually beat global homogenization? Cruise AC is literally betting its entire future that offering smart cooling for India's extreme summers at an honest price is a vastly stronger message than some generic global campaign. It is an incredibly fascinating David versus Goliath business strategy, and I highly encourage you to think about how this kind of positioning might apply to your own industry. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.